Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shivatsangam Mahoraskam, Vanamala Virajitam, Shankachakradharam Devam, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. I bow to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, who carries the shank and the chakra in his hands and is adorned with a garland of wildflowers. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Atitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we be protected, may we be nourished, may our studies be full of enthusiasm, and may they lead us to great and glorious results. And above all, may we never have an opportunity to fight with each other. Om, peace in the world, peace in the society, and let there be peace in my own mind. Hari Om, that's it. So, actually, since we had a very bad reception last Saturday, I am redoing the because many people said they couldn't follow any of it. So we will be doing the fourth class today. So we finished. We have almost finished. Or 22 of the 24 gurus we finished. The last one we did was the serpent, and like the snake. He said, life is too short to build houses, and then because once you build a house, what happens is that constantly your thoughts will always be with that house, and wherever you go, your thoughts will always be, where is this, what's happening to the house, and so on and so forth. So then he said, like the snake, the yogi realized that the yogi should not have any house of his own, and he just wandered. He was so free because he has nothing to worry about, what's happening to my house, what's happening to this. So he just wandered about without any sort of tension in his mind, stress in his mind about what is happening in the house. Now after that he takes the guru he finds is a spider. Now this is a very interesting one. He watches a spider and sees how the spider brings out his own thread and creates a glorious palace for himself where he catches, of course, his own for his food. And then at the end of when he's finished all that, he will go back again and he will go back and the whole thing goes in. And immediately his idea, he's always on these beautiful metaphysical ideas. So immediately his idea, he went, this is how the Lord, that Brahman, that divine spirit which is existence, consciousness, bliss, he brings out this entire cosmos out of himself. It's like a huge phantasmagoria which is let out from himself. And it takes a certain space of time. It remains there for a certain space of time and goes on as it is. And then at the end, he withdraws it into himself, just like the spider. So, what he means is that this universe which we see is only an appearance. It has no reality, because just like this spider web, it has a reality only for a very short time. Isn't it? Very short time. Similarly, this universe, he says, is a very, very short-lived affair. I mean, in human ears, of course, is a huge amount of time. But in cosmic time, it's very short-lived because that Brahman brings it out of himself. And when that eon or that age is over, then again he withdraws into his... So the universe is only Brahman seen through the headphones of the mind. Again and again he says, it's something which only recently science has realized, the great effect the mind has on our life and on the universe, our ability to see the life as it is. So this he stresses it on every lesson. He stresses on this, So this universe, which is made out of how does it appear? It comes out of the Prakriti's three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And that Brahman, the spider remains unchained, mind you. It creates this beautiful and enormous web out of which so many things happen. But the spider has no change in himself. Similarly, that Brahman brings out this enormous universe, amazing universe out of itself, and withdraws it into itself and remains unchanged all the time. Now, Advaita gives a beautiful example of it. So, because what is it that makes us see this universe when actually it's only an illusion? What is it that makes us see? Because we have steeped in ignorance. Now, the typical classic example given in Advaita is that of the snake and the rope and the snake. In older days, we had no kind of electricity and so on. So a man, he steps out into the veranda and thinks he sees a snake. It's a coiled up thing, and he imagines, oh my God, there's a head and there's a tail and it seems to be hissing and so many things. Now, and he shouts for his friend. The friend comes running and shines. He brings a torch or some sort of a light with him, and he shines it on this. And both of them start laughing because this is only a rope, a coiled up rope which had been left there by the previous day by someone or other. And everything imaginable about the snake he could see because of his imagination. The imagination of the mind is so much that he created a whole snake, a cobra, and with hoods and so on and so forth. Similarly, this is the example given. When that light of knowledge is shone on this cobra of the universe, of the world, then the cobra vanishes and you will see that is only that rope alone. So this, as I said, this universe is actually only the Brahman seen through the headphones of the mind, which creates an enormous thing. So those in darkness only will be frightened of only those who are in darkness will be frightened of this universe. Once a light of knowledge shines within us, we find that there's nothing at all. So everything is within us. When that Guru comes, he throws a clear light of reason. He doesn't give us anything. Remember that. He doesn't give us anything because we have everything needed for enlightenment within our own selves. We are made into, we are really enlightened beings because we are in that same shape, form as that, not form, but that same reality which is in the Brahman is within us. Therefore, the Guru does not have to give us anything. All he has to do is to remove that veil of ignorance, and that clear light of season is there. Now, in the Puranas, as you know, Hinduism is a method of making everything into a beautiful story. In the Puranas, this creative aspect of Brahman is known as Brahma, the creator. Shiva, the destroyer, and Vishnu, the integrator or the harmonizer. So that is Brahma. Now, next, from this formless system of the Brahman, he says, what comes out of it is the universe by his Maya. It projects, I said, it projects the universe out of itself, exactly like a spider, and reabsorbs it into himself, like the spider, after a huge cycle of time called yugas. Hence, so that is the lesson he learned from the spider. You know, we all look at a spider and think we look at that spider, and we are quite, we never think such things. But this man, as I said, he's always thinking in metaphysical ideas. So he immediately thought about the beautiful way the spider makes his web and brings it back. Now, the final, not the final actually, the 23rd Guru is something called a Kida or insect called the bhramara. Now, there is a saying that, whenever, something, there's a sort of a superstition that this bhramara is supposed to keep the larvae of another insect into a hole, and he keeps on poking it, and the last thing that the larvae kind of sees or is before it's totally closed up is the horrible face of that bhramara. So then what happens is that it gains a very face. He becomes like the bhramara. when he comes out, he is like exactly like the Brahmakira. Now, this is a famous this thing in the Krishna Avadara, out of sheer fear, mind you. So, in the Krishna Avadara, it is said that with whatever emotion a person thinks of something, it will take on that same form as that thing you are thinking about. So whatever, it's a mind which focuses itself in some form of, some emotion or other. But whatever the emotion, that's a great thing. Not that he does, in the Krishna Avadara does not say only those who focus on me with love will get liberated. No. The Krishna Avadara has many things why people like even hate, anger, fear, love, all these. Because sometimes hate is more, hate and fear are more powerful than even love. When you have love a person, you may forget the person. But someone who hates or fears or something, you're constantly thinking of that person. So therefore it said Shishupala, his cousin Shishupala, who always thought of him with anger and hate. He also given liberation by Krishna. And that's one thing. Then Kamsa, who feared him. Kamsa feared him so much because he had been told by that voice that had told him that the 8th child of his sister would kill him. So he feared him. Constantly he was thinking, where will he come? Where will he come? How will he? When he go to sleep, it is said he will look under the bed to see maybe he's hiding under this, and he'll jump out. All the time Kamsa was consumed with fear about Krishna. So again, through that very fear, the fact that he was constantly thinking of him, Kamsa also was given, got liberation. And then what was naturally the ones who loved him like his own parents and the gopis. Of course, the classic example of pure love is the gopis themselves, and the gopis who loved him to distraction, who knew nothing else but him. All they thought of was him. Night and day they thought of him. When they looked at their children, they thought of him. When they looked at their husbands, they thought of him. When they played a game, they thought of him. When they cooked, they thought of him. All the time they were thinking of him and singing songs about him. Naturally, they also got this thing. By the way, anyone who wants to ask questions, you must say tomorrow. 11 to 12, I have a question and answers. We can't answer questions now. So it is so. Then again, in the Bhagavad Gita, this is another important aspect. Bhagavan stresses that the last thought at the time of death is the one that propels you like a meteor. It propels you into your next life. The last thought. The very importance of the last thought is stressed in the Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, what is the last thought? The last thought will always be the thought which has obsessed you for the better part of your life. You cannot, it does not mean the deathbed confession or some things like that. It doesn't mean that. It means that thought, supposing a mother dies when the small child is there, naturally her last thought will be about the child, isn't it? Similarly, we should always think of the Lord all the time, because we don't know when death will overcome us. So that thought will be there always with us. That's why Krishna tells Arjuna, Tasmat sarvani karmani tasmat sarveshu kaleshu manusvara yuddhyacha. Therefore, think of me all the time and fight. Not think of me all the time and sit quietly in one corner or in a cave. No. Think of that. That means to say you don't know when your last arrow will come. So constantly, when you are shooting or doing anything, think of me and fight, Arjuna. Let that thought be always in your mind, that I am being propelled by my Lord, my Krishna. So that thought should be there. So this is the importance of thinking good thoughts all the time, because you really do not know when death can overtake you. It can come at any moment, at any time. Youth is not criterion that you will never die when you're young. Of course, so many people who are young will die. Similarly, age also. So don't take it for granted. Every moment, think of him all the time. And do your duty. That's the next thing. So, the yogi from this understood that any form which we concentrate on, any thought that we constantly thinking of, that is the very form to which we go. Therefore, you should always think of the divine whenever possible. Now, of course, you will say, I'm doing some work, how can I think of the... No, all you have to do is the beginning itself, before you start your work or cooking, oh Lord, oh Krishna, whatever, please accept this. I am doing it only for you. This beautiful dish I'm making is only for you. With that thought, then very often, many people, when I cook, I always say a mantra, Om Namah, Om Namah, in this thing. So that's why my dishes, I'm not a good cook, but everybody thinks they're wonderful. That's because that quality of love and that amazing aura of that Lord is always in that. So always, whatever you can think, when you're doing anything also, you should only think of the Lord and do. Finally, his final guru was his own body, the human body. That this body is subject to birth and death, very painful, but it is also capable of dispassion and discrimination. Out of the countless number of myriads of little creatures and animals and so many things, we don't know, the thousands and thousands and thousands of things which the Lord has created. Sometimes I'm amazed when I look it down on the ground on a little, you find little creatures I never knew existed. And suddenly yesterday I saw hundreds of little creatures, flies, like they were like flies. And they were running around happily up and there. What were they doing? I don't know. But then I realized then they lived for only about 6 hours. So I told, please don't do anything. Let them be. Let them enjoy their short life. So let them be. So you never know what types, hundreds and thousands of types of things, creatures are there. Out of that, actually, all other creatures have this urge for food and sex are same for all creatures. They're all there. All of them have it. But the ability for discrimination and dispassion is only with the human body. That is the greatness of the human body. Though the body is filled with filth and dirt, maybe inside so many things, bad things are there. Still, and it's also, you never know. It is very frail. You can never know when to die. Even so, that short time which is left to us, that is why he says, don't waste it on a futile thing. Think of the Lord. Think of that divine. Think of that which gives you liberation. Thus, so that this body helps a yogi to know that this is only a pantomime. Nothing lasts forever. Even this body which I love so much will not last forever. It does not belong to me. It belongs to others. Since when I die, the fire will eat it up. Or if it's buried, the worms and other things will eat it up. Or if it's just thrown out to the trash heap, dogs and wolves and other things will eat it up. So this body to which I am attached so much, really speaking, does not belong to me. It belongs to someone else. Hence, a yogi learns this passion and discrimination. So the body taught him this. This very body for which we fight for, get money and our family, to keep up our family and our goods and our houses and our cars and so on. He says, is like a tree, which when the tree dies, it leaves a seed for another tree. So when this body dies, what is a seed? It leaves a seed for another body through the karmas and the desires it has had in this life. That is a seed. This body as it dies, like the tree, leaves a seed. That is the karmas and the desires we have. That is what is going to give us a new body. So like the tree, this body will keep on regenerating itself. Unless you use your power of discrimination and dispassion and realize that this body is nothing at all. My goal is something much higher. Divinity is my goal, and because divinity is in me, and all I have to do is at the end, when this body leaves, I should join with that divine which is ever in me. So then he says, the body also, how the five senses will always enslave us. He's already says that. Sense of taste, one man gives him a sense of sex impulse, another sense of thirst, another one, skin touch, stomach touch, everything. All these five senses are always trying to draw us out into different directions, and it will go here and there, here and there. And he says, if one man has many wives, bad enough, if you have even one wife, then bad enough you have one wife, she'll be asking you, do this, do that, and so on. So many things are written, jokes are written about wives and husbands in all places. But we have not one wife, but 5 wives. 5 of them are drawing us. The eye wants to go and see something, the ear wants to hear some music, the tongue wants to go and eat something, and so on. So let's start having 5 wives. So we are pulled hither and thither by it's only at the end of many births and lower births in lower animals that we can get a human life. As I said, after many thousands of births in lower life, we can get a birth as a human life. But so because even though all these births are there, the ability to aim at the highest, ability to understand this wonderful knowledge is only in the human body. So all animals are driven by desire for sex and food. Only the human being can conquer these desires and strive for the highest. Only in this. So this is very important. So the man who has got his body should diligently strive for liberation. If you fritter it away, when I see the news and so on, I feel so sorry because people are just wasting their wonderful ability or the wonderful boon, gift that God has given them of this human body to find the greatest. And people are so unhappy and so mean and wicked to others. All this, can't they understand that this is only lead you to the hell of your own making? It will not give you the money. Only the money is not going to give you what you expect. So he says, therefore my body was the last of my gurus. My body gave me dispassion I got from my body, and I roam about all over the world, absolutely free. I have nothing to hold me, nothing to keep me. So I go where I want, like the wind. I go here and there, and this is only. When you heard that, Yadu, you remember this is a talk the avadhoot is giving to Dattatreya. Really is giving to Yadu, the relation or the previous ancestor of the Yadava clan belonging to both Udhhava and Lord Krishna. So Yadu fell at his feet and he was blessed by the avadhoot, and he just said that he became an enlightened person. So next, next the thing is that you must understand. You may think, oh my God, these 24 gurus. How can we? What can? The fact is, of course, it is meant for Udhhava. It was said to Udhhava because, as I said, this is an advice not to a kshatriya. It's not given to a person who is in the middle of the battle of life, as the Bhagavad Gita. This is meant for those who have reached the last portion of their life, really speaking. That is there are 4 ashramas or these things in our life. That is the brahmacharya, the grihasthashram, and the vanaprastha and sannyasa. These are 4 ashramas in Hinduism. That is, brahmacharya is the time when you are a student. Studentship is that time when you are totally concentrated on learning and on the words of your guru. And that is something you are not supposed to be running around shouting slogans against the government and setting fire to buses and stuff. That is just a waste of your wonderful time of brahmacharya. Understand? Second is the grihasthashma, when you can marry, you become a householder. Third is the vanaprastha, where you start slowly. You have already passed 60, 70 or so, and you are time for you to retire from this world. And slowly you start directing your thoughts towards other things. And sannyasa, of course, many people may not take it up, but that is the final goal of life. So what Krishna has already said, he who does his karma clearly, even during his whole life, he is a sannyasi also. You don't have to wait till the last of your life to become a sannyasi. So this is very important. Krishna says this himself. So we don't think, oh, this is not meant for me, it's only meant for a sannyasi. Not at all. Because, again, as I told you, the last thought at the time of death will only depend on all your thoughts during your life. So there's never a question of, I will wait till the end and I will suddenly think of Krishna. You will never be able to think of Krishna at that time. You will only think of what you have been thinking about all your life. Like Prahlada told him, the great Asura boy Prahlada, he told his students, he was a small child, only 12 years old, and he told his friends, come on, all of you chant the name of God, let's say the mantra of God, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And his friends said, my dear Prahlada, you are going to be king. Why do you say this now? You will annoy your father. Your father will get very angry with you. So why do you make him angry like that? One day you will become king, and after that you can do what you like. So please don't do it. And Prahlada said, how do you know that you will reach that age? Has anyone given you a certificate at the time of birth to say on such and such a date and such a time you will die? No such certificate is possible. Even an astrologer cannot say. They will only say you're passing through a bad time. They won't say you will die in such and such a time. So the fact is that we can never know the time of death, he said. Therefore, the time to start all this is now and here, even though you're small children. In fact, I would always tell, Hinduism, we always teach our children from the beginning itself how to lead a liberated life so that automatically you get liberation at the time of death. So he says that this is Udhhava again, Udhhava says, so as I'm saying, these 24 gurus, each one of us can take some lesson or other from one of these. Even though we are not sannyasis, we can all also get some lessons from all of these. So it's good to read all of them and find out what exactly he says. So then, of course, then first of all, what is it? Yes. Then Udhhava asks this thing. Because not for himself, he was already a highly disciplined and highly enlightened person. So he asks Lord Krishna, he said, please tell me, all this may be difficult for those who come in Kali Yuga, and they may be tormented by so many external things also. So please tell me some way, easier way, some good way by which they also can get in this thing. So that is, then Lord Krishna says, he gives him the essence of the Bhagavad Dharma. The Bhagavad Dharma is given in the Bhagavad Mahapurana is a simple one. Kayena vaja manasendriyarva buddhyatmanaval pragade svabhava karomi yadya sagalam parasme Shri Narayanaye samarpayami. So this is what is a simple thing. Oh Lord Narayana, I surrender to you. Every morning you say that. I surrender to you all my actions performed through the body, the mind, the intellect, the speech, performed voluntarily or involuntarily. Every such action, even if I don't know it, I'm already surrendering this to you. This is the essence of the Bhagavad Dharma is given in the Bhagavad Purana. And Lord Krishna says, so everyone can follow his or her station in life. Whatever ashrama you are in, whatever place you are in, you can follow your station in life and yet follow this Bhagavad Dharma. Everything you are doing, everything what I think, I act or smell or taste or eat or do, either voluntary actions as well as involuntary actions, all of them I surrender to you, O Lord Narayana. It is your duty now. I'm not the captain of my boat anymore. I'm not the charioteer of my sitting in my own car. I'm not the driver of my own car. You are the driver. I'm only sitting inside this thing. So you should come. He should follow the Bhagavad, whatever station of life you are placed in. You should follow the Bhagavad Dharma. So this first advice is given to Krishna, which given to Udhhava in the 5th chapter. Then again, in the amazing, again and again he reiterates about the unreality of the world. Because we are so obsessed with the idea that this is solid matter, that this is everything is real, and what we think is, I see and the nose smells and all this is real. Only in this present century, last century actually, that modern science has agreed with what Krishna says 5,000 years ago. Where quantum physics says that this is not what you think as solid matter, is not solid matter at all. It is only energy in motion. So this is a very, very important term. As he says again, just as the visions of a dreamer, which he imagines to be very real. While you're dreaming, you think this is real. And sometimes it is so very real to you. You may even shout or scream and say, oh, and then you just wake up suddenly. And then only you realize that it is all a dream. This is not real. I mean, the whole thing, it seems so real, but it's not real. It's only a dream. So also, we who see all these diverse objects, we imagine it is to be real. They are all created by the mind. The sense organs will get all these experiences and feed it to the mind. And the mind figures out a huge canvas. Like even as TV shows, again what we have said. TV show, you watch this TV, so many things happening, so many wonderful things happening. And you cry when the hero is killed and shout down with him against the villain. But actually, once that show finishes and the switch turns off, you're back to that what? That white screen. Absolutely white. Absolutely unmoving. Because of which this entire film, which looked so real to you, was projected. If that white, pure white, qualityless, quantityless, and ever existing, never changing, never moving, such a screen was not there at the back, this whole projection on that will have no meaning. If the screen was also moving, these people will also move. It'll be absurd. It'll be totally absurd, isn't it? So the whole projection, unreal though it is, it is considered by us to be real only because of that pure white screen behind. So because of that Brahman, which is ever non-changing, without any qualities, absolutely existing for eternity, because this canvas of the universe is projected on that is why it seems to be real for us. So this multiplicity and duality that we experience is only to the existence of that Brahman, which alone is real. So only if we understand it. This is again and again, he reiterates it, because a very important thing for all human beings to understand, that only because of that white screen do we have any semblance of reality. So if we have to give up our selfish actions, we have to, and not least wicked actions. You see so much of wickedness going, people carelessly running down a poor, a person walking on the road and just going on without even helping the person. So many things, killing people and murdering and cheating, and my God, I just don't understand. Don't these people understand that the law of karma will catch up with them? Definitely, 100%. They will be made into donkeys or mules which are beaten. And when I see these horses over here, I realize, these are the people who have cheated and murdered and killed and done so many things in their past life. This is the thing they will get. 100% you will be like that. This is the way that the karma works. But then he says, we should give back, not only we keep. So what is the advice is given to all of us? Remember that. It's a very important advice. We have to keep our mind At least in the morning you say, Kayena vaja manasendriya va buddhyatmana va pragadesu va karomi yadyat sagalam parasme Shri Narayana yadi samarpan. That means I've already said, whatever I do, voluntary, involuntary, I surrender to you. You are the one who should do, you are the doer, you should do it for me. So, but he says that but these, and you must continue actions. Now, how should you continue actions? It's already been said, yajna, dana and tapas. These three are incumbent on every human being. Yajna, dana and tapas. This cannot be given up by any human being. What is yajna? Yajna is the duty you owe to the gods, to that creation. What is that yajna? That is by reading, by scriptures, performing rituals, praying to God. All these things are part of that. You can do havans. All these are part of that the ritual called yajna. Now dana, second is the dana, is a duty you owe to other human beings, other people. How do you do that? You can do it by charitable actions, either to humans and to animals, mind you. That dana includes every other creature, not just human being, other creatures also who inhabit this universe along with us. So we do charitable actions, we give food to people who don't have, we give food to a hungry cow or a dog or a cat who runs after you. So, in fact, in Hinduism, we are told to have our own breakfast or our own meal only after having watered a plant, having given some food to any animal, and having, if possible, some food to some human being. Only then are we allowed to have our own this thing. These are all amazing ideas given in Hinduism, which come to the way of lifestyle. Hinduism is a way of life. So from childhood you should teach people that, children that without serving the humanity and serving nature by watering the plant, serving animal kingdom by giving food to an animal, serving humanity by giving some charity to a human being. Until you do that, you should not fulfill your own stomach. This is a way of, it's a very simple way. It's a very easy way. And that is a method of how you can continue with our spiritual progress. So, we have to do some work. There's no doubt that some work we have to do, because especially the householder will need money to support his house and his people and his family. So this work that a householder can do, a householder or even a brahmachari or can do, is by following the yamas and niyamas. The work he does should comply with the yamas and niyamas. Okay, so what are the yamas? Patanjali gives them yamas and niyamas. What are they? He gives them very, very clearly. He gives them. So yamas are, So yamas are, where am I? Yeah, that's right. So yamas are universal rules, moral instructions. Then every religion has that. Yamas are universal rules of, that is ahimsa. Ahimsa we also know. Non-violence, not only in deed, thought, word and deed. Thought, word and action. That is ahimsa. Satya, truth. Also in truth, not only in thought and speech and action. Not only in speech and action, but also in thought. Satya or truth. Truth should be followed. Asteya. Asteya is non-stealing. Now you may say, my God, I don't go stealing things about it. Now this is not mere physical stealing that he means, but talking ill of others or thinking ill of others, we are really stealing from their integrity, isn't it? So that is also part of asteya. Non-stealing, asteya. Not having any, stealing either their reputation. You steal their reputation. We can just, I heard that man is going around with that young girl. Finished. That's it. That's asteya. That is steya. You are killing that man with your tongue, isn't it? So asteya means non-stealing. Brahmacharya. That is the right use of divine energy. What is brahmacharya? We all think brahmacharya only has connected with sex. It's not. That vital force or energy in us, that's the viryam in us, is a very vital thing. That is actually, when it goes down to the lower chakras, that is the sexual instinct. which is very necessary for the propagation of the species, no doubt. But when that vital energy is taken up, that can also lead us to enlightenment. So that is why there is brahmacharya is accented on in all Hindu texts, because that vital energy it need not be constantly dissipated in the lower chakras. If it rises up, you can become a genius, you can be a wonderful person, you can be an enlightened, you can be something. Because that same energy, you understand? The same energy which can kill a person, can also, or create a person, can also take you up to the highest. So that is brahmacharya's again. Then fifth of the yamas is aparigraha. Aparigraha is non-covetousness. Non-covetousness means all of us, it has jealousy also in that. There's a bit of jealousy. We are all guilty of looking at other people and thinking, I wish I could have that. I wish I could have what a lovely this thing they have. What a lovely house. I wish I could have her clothes. Now, these may be physical things also, or they may have some superior position which they possess, which we covet for. All this comes under aparigraha. That is non-covetousness. We do not covet anything which another person has. Now, these are the 5 rules even when you do any work. These yamas, these are the yamas which are pertaining to external society. The yamas pertain to external society. And these 5 have to be done even when you are doing a duty. You may say, I am doing a duty, but remember, just check off. Am I doing according to the yamas? Am I doing it according to yamas? That is the criteria. Next, you come to the niyamas. These also should be followed when you are doing your duty. What are the niyamas? These are all advice given for our own benefit. That is shauja. Shauja is cleanliness, both physically and mentally. Physically, of course, you have to keep your body clean. Mentally also, keep it free from jealousy and hatred and disgust and so on. So that is shauja, cleanliness, both physical and mental. Next is santosha, contentment. We have, if we follow all these niyamas, actually there will be a feeling of santosha. Santosha is different from joy. Santosha is a state, it's joy, you get a little bit of joy. Oh, when I see a wonderful sunset, or when I eat a chocolate ice cream, immediately I get some joy, happiness. But santosha is a state of contentment, not so highly gripping maybe as the other, but it's a state always which is a great quality which very few people have. Nobody is ever content with what they have. Everybody wants something else. That's why aparigraha asaya. It's already said. We all covet something which other have. They always want somebody else's stuff. So that contentment which I have, I'm quite happy with what I have. I don't need anything. God, I'm so grateful to you having given me all that I have. This is a wonderful thing. I'm so grateful. That contentment, is something conducive to very good health also. You must understand. Your physical health also depends a lot on this santosha. People who are always contented, who never have these negative feelings all the time, such a person will have good health automatically. That is another amazing thing about, because body and mind are so closely connected that they seem to going with other. Next, the thing for us also is tapas. Tapas is discipline. We should lead a disciplined life. A person who leads an undisciplined life, we think, we are freedom. I know some political scientist or something says this very, very pertinent words. He said, your freedom lies only to the tip of the other person's nose. You cannot go beyond that nose. If you go beyond his nose, then the law will catch you. You've knocked him down, you've fought with him, you've done, isn't it? So, this tapas or discipline, internal, external, that is very important. Tapas, some discipline. You should not go beyond what you are listening. And have a disciplined life. You get up a certain time in the morning. You do certain sadhana. You have certain times for food. Certain time for... This discipline, if you follow in life, to a great extent, you will have santosha, contentment. And all the other things will follow. This is very important. That try this disciplined life, and automatically your whole mental attitude also will differ. It's a very important thing. Okay. Then Swadhyaya, it's called. Swadhyaya is self-study. You see, these rishis have given us the greatest books that any religion possesses in this world. They have given us so many different types of things which we can. At least, the least we can do is to take every day. See, it doesn't matter if it's Udhhava Geeta maybe, or the Bhagavat Geeta maybe, or the Mahabharata, or the Ramayana, or something we take and read a little bit every day. Or Vishnu Sahasranama, we are chanting. These are things which you should automatically do, because it will help us enhance our own, determination to make our life perfect. Because all these are stories, or all these mantras are all meant to make us more strong and to inculcate the culture which the rishis have given us. That's incumbent. Finally, the most important thing in the niyamas is Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara Pranidhana means surrender to a higher power, always surrender to a higher power. That's from the beginning he said, what is the Bhagavad Dharma? Kayena vaja mansendriyarva buddhyatmanava pragade svabhava karomi adyal sagalam parasme Sri Narayanayedi samarpayami. So that surrender to a superior power, that idea that there is a divinity, there is a superior power supporting me. The fish should always remember it's water which is supporting me. I am not, a totally free agent. I cannot swim by myself. The water is supporting me. Similarly, that idea that always there is a divine in us, which is conducting or in charge of our entire life. Ishvara Pranidhana, every day, every morning you get up and say, thank you Lord, thank you for what you've given me. Yesterday was so wonderful. Make this also, make me a perfect servant, make me a perfect instrument in your hand. This idea, that gratitude, that there is, that idea, that knowledge, that your life is being held up by this, some Ishvara, or that, you don't want it called, but something which is superior to us, some divine thing is supporting us. So that is another this thing, all of these things. Then he says, you should also serve your guru to the best of your this thing. You should serve your guru. Now the guru who gives you mantropadesha is one, but as you see, the avadhoot is quite okay. You can learn whatever bits of knowledge you can get from any person can be considered guru. Because even though your mantropadesha guru is one, other there are many things from the nature from which you can learn, as you have already seen, and that can all be considered as guru. So now again he goes on. Remember this in Udhhava Geeta, he's always pointing out the highest, the nature of the man, of a human being. He can become a God man. Not these God men and Babas that you see around here. Unfortunately, our culture breeds a sort of, mock God men. Unfortunately, and people run after them. It's very sad. But that is not what here, actual, it is a possibility of every human being, including a householder, to become a God man. Who is free from pride and jealousy and attachment to external objects, eager to know the truth, not free from jealousy, and doing his own sadhana, his own this thing, his own duty as an offering to that God. So similarly, such a person can actually, these are the people who we can call God men, not those who wear all sorts of things that profess to be great and profess that they can do many miracles. These are not the real God men. The real God men are those which so much of which gives us so much of knowledge and experience of the truth. So the householder, he says, the householder is intent on liberation, because whatever stage of life you are on, your goal should be fixed. Liberation is your goal. The householder has to do his duty according to following the Yamas and the Niyamas. Okay? Householder has to do the duty following Yamas and Niyamas, but his main aim should be, so like, a man who knows, I'm just doing this for some time. Once I get some money, I'm going to migrate to Ireland, I'm going to migrate to Australia and do some work. So his idea is always that. So all the work he does here is nothing. Similarly, that householder whose idea, his final idea is liberation, everything he does here should be with an eye to that liberation. And it should be according to the Yamas and the Niyamas, in which case he will automatically be led towards liberation. Therefore, this should not be overly attached to anything. Because nothing has already been said. Nothing in this world is permanent. Nothing, absolutely nothing. There's nothing called permanency in this world. It is a ever-changing world. And which has been proved now by modern science. This ever-changing world. So, he should not, therefore don't be attached. Because one day or another, one of them will go. You love your son, you love your wife, you love your this thing. One day they'll die. Remember that. Death is lurking at the back of everything. So, such a person should never be overly attached to anything in the world. So, and he says, remember always that the Atman is distinct from this gross body. It's distinct. That Atman is it is totally different from the gross body. Just like blaze, the fire that burns and illumines is different, totally different from the wood. When you see the wood being burned, you think the wood is the fire. The wood is not the fire. Fire is something totally different. The fire does not depend on the nature of the wood. If the wood is big block, the fire is not like. It is a subtle principle of fire. Is that it has actually no form and is present in everything. The quality of fire is actually present in everything. Anything, that is why we can set fire to anything. How does even concrete set fire? How does all these things go on? Because the subtle principle of fire is there. So, but we attribute the qualities of the log of the fuel to the fire. We attribute the qualities of this world to that Atman, which is like the fire, which has no qualities and has no form. But we attribute. If a log and a log of wood may have some power, some this thing, or large or small, but the fire does not depend on that. We attribute it, that's all. We say, oh, what a blazing fire. Oh, what a very small fire. Fire is fire. It is something, it is one of the elements. It is something totally different. So, similarly, we attribute the qualities of this gross body to that Atman. That's what we're doing. We think the Atman is happy, the Atman is this, it's not. It is only these happiness, unhappiness, joy, sorrow, the duality belongs to the world. And therefore the gross body, which is the gross body? Duality belongs to this gross body with the five senses. Duality does not belong to the Atman, which remains ever the same, which is attributeless. Okay? So this body is created by the Lord's Maya and is the cause for our transmigration to another body. Because I already have said, this body when it leaves is like a tree. It leaves behind a seed by which we get another body. Again, these karmas which we have, actually today's karma is what makes tomorrow's day for us. Isn't it? So every one foot when you keep forward, the balance of the foot in front will depend on the firmness of the foot behind. So tomorrow will depend on today. As I am today, as my action today will be my future, tomorrow's this thing. So this body is the cause of our transmigration. And the knowledge of the self alone can destroy this ignorance. Ignorance. Only destructive ignorance, mind you. No, nothing else. You are not supposed to get something out of something and then become enlightened. No. That is why he reiterates this. He's going to reiterate it for this whole of this chapter. He's going to say again and again, it's only ignorance of who you are. Ignorance of the fact that you are the Brahman, you are the Atman, you are the highest, you are the divine. And you have gone and joined yourself to this physical, impermanent, very, very weak and sick body which might drop at any time. So give away that notion that you are this frail body. And remember that you are the Atman, the Brahman, that you are the highest. And you can attain the highest in this very body. In fact, you can attain it only in this very body. You cannot attain it in some other body, in a dog's body or a cat's body, only in this body. So grateful to the body for that, but ever remember that the body is not the last thing. Your whole while you are living in this house of this body, always your goal should be that I should reach the highest. I should reach the divine which is in me. So this knowledge alone can save us from transmigration and take away the bondage of this jivatma. That's why when great Ramana Maharshi, when anyone went to him, he never gave any advice. When they asked for the advice, all he said was, go and find out, who am I? Ask this question to us. Who am I? This is the question he asked us. So he says, it's a process of negation. Who am I? Am I the body? Am I the mind? Am I the intellect? Then who am I? When in sleep, for instance, is there a body? Their body is there. Is there a mind or intellect? No. The mind and intellect are all in abeyance. So, but when you wake up, when the sleeper wakes up, he says, I had a bad dream. I had a good sleep. So there was one I, even when you were sleeping, even when you were dreaming, even when you are in deep sleep. There was an I, watchful I, watching all the things happening there. That I you are. That thou art. That tamasi. That you are. That you are. That I. Who is that I? Try to find out who is that I. That is the greatest accomplishment of any human being. You have been given a human birth only for this, to find out who are you, who am I, who is this I who watchfully looks over your dream state, your deep sleep state, who is always watching all these things that are happening here, who knows everything about you, but you don't know it. That is the I you have to find out. This is again and again he asks this. We have only a very short time, I think. Yeah, only 2 minutes. Anyway, even great Shankaracharya, when he was approached, he approached his Guru, Govindapada, and the Guru asked him, who are you? Was the question he asked him. And you know how he replied? It is 6 verses known as the Atmashtakam. 6 verses. Ashtakam means 6. Atma Shatakam, not Ashtakam, sorry. Ashtakam is 8. Shatakam is 6. Atma Shatakam. In Nirvana Shatakam also. He negates. He says, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I'm not the senses, I'm not this, I'm not what people say. What am I then? Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham, Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham, Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham. I am that body of supreme knowledge, Chidananda, Chid, Ananda, consciousness and bliss. I am that. I'm Shiva himself. I'm nothing else but that, only that. This is the answer the great Shankaracharya gave to Govindapada. And Govindapada realized that this boy is not a small young boy which is standing in front of me. He is actually Shiva himself, because he is a very wonderful and great person, you see. So that is this. He negates them. I'm not the 5 senses. I'm not the mind. I'm that Chidananda. I'm not duality of like or dislike. No lust. I was never born. Therefore I cannot die. Only this body can die. Because I am the form of the supreme consciousness. Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham. So this is I think we will stop with this, and we will continue next by God's grace that we have managed to finish this beautiful chapter without any interruptions, and all due to His grace. Nothing is due to in our hand. The Wi-Fi has been very good to us this time, and we've been able to finish it, and even at the cost of being very hot, because the sun is shining. Last time it was raining, and maybe that was what created the problem. But today, even though it's hot, the sun is shining, and I'm happy that we have been able to finish this chapter, which I did last Saturday, which I've done again this time. So let's meet again next Saturday for Udhhava Geeta. And hopefully anyone who's interested, we can meet again tomorrow from 11 to 12. There is a question answer period. Hopefully we can meet for that also. So we will end with the usual prayer. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir bhavatu sarvesham. Purnam bhavatu sarvesham. Mangalam bhavatu. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramayah. Sarve bhajani pashyantu. Ma kaschid dukkha bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you all for having joined this wonderful session. I hope it was a wonderful session. And we will meet again next Saturday, I said. But all those who are coming for Q&A, we will meet tomorrow.